welcome to drmom.com.
Hey, Dr. Tony. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about digging into your why. I have worked a lot with people who are often asking, what is the purpose? They're feeling stuck in life, they've tried, and it seems like things just don't move and keep moving. So even if things move a little bit, they just feel stuck. And I often work with teens that struggle with this what's the purpose question. And it makes sense. Teens are at a place in life where they're trying to figure out who and how they want to be in this world, and how and if they want to be associated with certain people, certain places, certain beliefs, certain things. But I've also worked with adults, plenty of adults of various ages who are asking the question, what is the point? Whether it's just the mundanity of life or things just not working out, or again, them just feeling so stuck. And when they ask themselves this what's the point, what's the purpose question long enough and frequently enough, while feeling disconnected from who they are, their core self, their authentic inside self, they eventually feel anxious and depressed. And they begin this cycle of hopelessness. And it's this desire to be enough, but not being enough. I want to be enough. I'm not enough. I could be enough. I can't be enough. This is hopeless. Have you been there? A lot of people I've talked to have been there. I've been there. Comparisons and the pressure of the shoulds, I should do this, I should be like that, fuels these difficult thoughts and feelings. And it might go something like, what's the point? Why can't I be happy like so-and-so, my neighbor? Or why can't I be as thin or good looking as so-and-so, this Facebook friend I have? Or why can't I be as successful as so-and-so, maybe one of your siblings? Or why can't I have a relationship, a good, happy, quality, loving relationship like so-and-so? Maybe one of your good friends, etc., etc. Comparing. Why can I not feel good enough? Why can't I feel enough? Maybe if I do this, or maybe if I get better at that. Maybe when I feel good enough, it'll last. I don't know. It's so frustrating. It's so confusing. And the thing is, it's human to observe others in order to try to figure out how to adapt in situations, right? We do that. We need to do that. We're very adaptable. But it is dangerous to institute a practice of constant comparison instead of a practice of self-compassion. It taints the connection that you have with yourself inside. No one who is not connected to their authentic core self is going to feel good enough, no matter what they achieve, no matter how many goals they reach. Because their version of good enough is based so much on others outside of themselves. And it's not focused on what really matters to them on the inside. This might sound cliche, but stick with me. I think it'll make a little bit more sense the more we dig in. What happens? Well, you don't keep that good enough feeling, like if you achieve a goal or something, when these outside forces get to determine your worth. So if you achieve your goal, you will probably momentarily feel good. And for some, that good feeling is going to last maybe a little bit longer than for others. It depends on the person, but eventually that feeling wanes and you're left feeling not enough again. And you find yourself back in this cycle of anxiety, hopelessness, and you're disappointed, a deep disappointment. You're feeling flawed. And you just feel like you are lacking in comparison to everyone else, and you wonder over and over, what is the purpose? Why am I not good enough? No matter how many goals you reach, you're not feeling good enough when these outside influences get to impact who and how you are regularly. You feel worse and worse each time because you start to figure nothing I do matters. Nothing makes me feel good enough. No matter what I do, it's just not enough. Why should I even keep trying? What is the point? Why keep working hard if I'm still going to feel this way? If you have been here and you struggle with this, hang on, keep listening. There is a way to work through this. And there are those who reach their goals who keep feeling this, and there are those who don't reach their goals and keep experiencing this frustrating cycle. These people, they set out to reach their goals, but there seems to always be something that's getting in the way. It's preventing them from achieving what they sought out to do, what they desire to do, what they think maybe they should do. And then they circle back around to the same conclusion. See? I just collected a bunch of proof. Hardcore proof. I can't do it. I'm really not going to be good enough. My hard work gets me nowhere, so what really is the point? Anxiety kicks in because of the fear of failure, the fear that your actions will prove to everyone else that you are flawed and you are really not good enough. And that fear that others are going to judge you or perceive you in some negative or less than way feels so pervasive, and it starts to dictate your worth. And so, of course, you try to escape this feeling, right? Because this is a crappy feeling. No one wants to feel this way. But you can't escape it because you're not connected to yourself. You're not connected to a foundation inside of who you are, how you want to be. And then the more anxious you feel, the more out of control you feel. And, of course, as humans, the more out of control that we feel, the more we want that control. We seek it, try to get it. But we're setting ourselves up for disappointment again, because the thing is that there is so much in life that is beyond our control. And so the anxiety grows and it grows, and you try to take control and you grasp for control and external validation, but you can't control all of life, and you certainly can't control all of these external pieces that you're relying on for validation. And so you are left feeling out of control and therefore like a failure and judged so harshly and so critically by others, when really it's coming from inside. But it's an all-around crappy feeling. And so, like many others, the more you feed into the belief that you are those feelings and thoughts that you're experiencing, the more likely you are to struggle with anxiety or depressive symptoms and cycles. The more thoughts and feelings you have about being a failure, about not being good enough, about not measuring up and not understanding your purpose, the more difficult it is to escape the cycle of anxiety, and for many, depression as well. People experience anxious feelings and depressive thoughts very differently. Everyone is not the same, and so people deal with these difficult thoughts and feelings in different ways. Some people are more likely to experience a diagnosable level of anxiety and depression, while others are not as exposed to a predisposition of deeper, more diagnosable levels of anxiety and depression. Some people may choose to incorporate medication because of their own predisposition or circumstance, and others may choose not to do so. But regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, everyone can benefit from getting more familiar, digging in to their why with that inside self. That self that may, if you're here and feeling this way, if this resonates with you, that part of yourself has probably been ignored, suppressed, pushed down, misunderstood, in order to try and fit into the mold that the social world, the shoulds, has convinced you is necessary for eternal happiness and eternal acceptance and love and success. Let me give you an example. I want you to look at this pencil that I have here. Take this pencil, okay? You can see I am connected to it, right? Right here at the base. But my grasp isn't super strong. So if I toss stuff at it from the outside, the impact that it has on the pencil is pretty significant. Even if I try to hold tighter, it's still, right? But when I have a strong connection, when I strengthen that connection, the impact of the outside stuff is so much less significant. Can the pencil still feel it? Yes, if the pencil had feelings, it's still feeling the outside stuff, pushing and trying to influence it. But the outside stuff doesn't have the power to totally knock it down. Of course, I'm oversimplifying, right? This is just a demonstration for demonstration purposes. But it shows how the more connected you are with your internal core, authentic sense of self, the less significantly these outside influences impact your overall existence and life experience. So when you find yourself asking why, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of my life, of your life? Generally speaking, your purpose is to dig into your why. Figure out who and how you are inside, who you want to be in this world, and then strive to be it on purpose. Knowing that it's an ongoing, growing opportunity. You're always going to be developing this inside sense of self because you're always learning new things about the world, about you. And you add that to your database. So expect to mess up because life is messy and people are imperfect. So just own that you are flawed, but you are beautifully flawed and you are you. And show compassion to yourself when you do mess up, because you will. Get back up when you fall. When life is throwing things at you, the stronger you connect with your inside self, your foundation of who and how you want to be in this world, the stronger you feel, the more secure you are, and the less other external sources get to validate and define who you're going to be. And so, fall, mess up, get back up, forgive yourself. And remind yourself it's okay if you need to ask for help. Because we humans, we're an interactive species. We are not an isolation-focused species. And I know there's difficulties about that right now. With getting so engaged maybe on like a computer screen or a phone or some kind of social media or whatever, and just connecting from the world around you. We're not meant to be isolated. We are meant to support each other, okay? So it's okay to ask for help. Get familiar with who and how you are on the inside, who you want to be, and be open, curious to how you'd like to grow. And use that as your compass, your sounding board. It is your foundation. It is your safety net. It is your home base. And if you're not connected to that, then you're likely using these external forces to define who and how you are. And if that is what's happening, then you're defining yourself based off of comparison and social pressure and all the shoulds that exist out in the world. And you're defining yourself based on something that's unstable, ever-changing, superficial, and just not firm. It's not a firm foundation. Experiencing some variation of an anxiety cycle or moments of deep sadness is completely human. It is normal. It's not abnormal at all. And even more so when major life transitions happen, these cycles amp up, like adolescence, getting married, having a baby, achieving some major life or career or personal accomplishment that has taken you years to achieve, and so on and so forth. Because suddenly you're thrust into this sense of what's next? What does this mean for me? Am I changing? Am I growing? Yes, you are. So here are some kind of generalized answers to some of those questions. What's next? Well, eventually there will be something next. And there's an uncertainty principle there. You might not know. And yet you're permitted to embrace the now, reflect on what you've experienced up to this point, and feel excited and proud and nervous all at the same time about what you've accomplished and the unknowns of the future. It's relinquishing control. You are permitted to experience these wonderful emotions and simultaneously and consecutively have those emotions come and go. Depending on who you are, they're going to ebb and flow or happen all at once. I mean, I can't tell you how you personally are going to experience it, but you're going to have emotions and you're going to experience them, and it's okay. You don't actually have to determine what's going to happen next right away. You can enjoy it. There's no rule book on this. Just the recommendation that I'm giving you now to allow yourself to feel the feels, think the thinks, and then not hold yourself captive by them. Not hold yourself captive to exactly what has to happen next. And don't use too concrete of thoughts or feelings or principles or shoulds in any particular order to measure your sense of worthiness or enoughness. So what's next is something, and it's uncertain, and yet you can still embrace the now and be proud of whatever it is that you've accomplished, whether it feels like a big or little step to you. They all matter. They're all steps. They're all part of your journey. So what does this mean for me? Well, it means you're likely to grow now, right? Because when you're struggling, you're not failing, you're growing. This is an opportunity for growth. And so you're probably going to learn something new. Be open to that. Have gratitude about that. Wow, like learning something new, no matter how old you are. I was just talking to my 5-year-old about this the other day. You're always going to learn something new. Mommy doesn't know everything. There's always something new to learn. So does this mean that you're going to grow and change and develop? Yes. And you're also going to experience both joy and pain, because that's part of the experience of life. And you can still move through the pain and embrace the joy. So if you're asking the question, am I changing because you're having any of these experiences and you're pushing yourself and you're trying to firm up your connection with yourself, the answer is yes, you're changing. Not in a core way where your foundation is flimsy, but you're changing, and that there's always room for growth and development. So when you dig into your why and you get more clear on what your why is inside, who and how you want to be in this world, then there is room to change because you feel secure in who you are. And that might sound oxymoron-like, but when you start doing this work, you're going to see what I mean. You're going to feel it. You're going to experience it yourself. I mean, would you really want to say that even if you were bright at the age of 5 or 10, that when you're 18 or 28, you're the same exact person? You've learned nothing. You didn't grow at all. Or from 20 to 45, you've learned nothing. You're just the same. No, you've grown. Your life experience means something. I wouldn't want to say that about myself. Oh my gosh, just in the past week, I feel like I've had some kind of personal development that I've learned from, and it wasn't easy. But I learned from it. And I've added this to my arsenal of knowledge based on who I am and what matters most to me inside, authentically at my core. So if you want to dig into your core self and get more familiar with who and how you want to authentically be in this world, if you want to dig into your why, you can click on the PDF that I'm going to leave posted here and pull it out and give it a try. It's the Me worksheet. And if you need more clarity, I really do encourage you to explore seeing a therapist in your area. If you're in my area, in the Bucksmont area in Pennsylvania, you can email me at mail@authenticallyMepsychotherapy.com, or you can head on over to my website, authenticallyme.psychotherapy.com, or you can check me out, Psychology Today, and there's lots of other therapists listed on Psychology Today or Therapy Den, so you can find someone in your area. And this is tough work. I'm not saying this like it's easy, it's tough work, but digging into your why will give you clarity. It will give you a compass for the direction that you want to move with your life, and it'll help you better manage these external forces that are bound to be tossed your way, because that's just part of life, the life experience. You can't control everything, right? So you can totally do this. And if you want to explore it, like I said, go ahead, hop in, use that worksheet. Talk to your therapist if you already have one, and if you would like to get connected with one, I encourage you to do so. Thanks for hanging in with me today. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
Until next time.
Bye.
DrMom.com does not constitute a client-patient relationship and claims no clinical responsibility for any information presented on this channel. Please seek out a therapist in your area if you would like to pursue individual clinical support.